Hey guys, it's Daddy Robin again and welcome to the Super Tolentino family. As you can see, I'm wearing my Taekwondo uniform right now because my topic for tonight's discussion or today's discussion is about becoming a black belt in martial arts here in Canada. Specifically, being a black belt in Taekwondo because that's what I took up, right? So, the reason for this is that a lot of my friends in the Philippines and here in Canada were asking me how long, Robin, did it take you to become a black belt in Taekwondo? And how much money did you actually spend to become a black belt? Because as we all know, martial arts and any other sports or any other kids activity here in Canada or in Northern America in general is quite expensive, right? Although, of course, we get a lot of benefits from the government here in Canada. So, I'm gonna discuss that tonight because a lot of my friends are interested on how much money would you actually spend to become a black belt in Taekwondo, specifically in Taekwondo, okay? Because I don't know with the other martial arts here in Canada, of course, they have like a Muay Thai or Karate here. But don't get me wrong, guys. I love any form of martial arts, and I'm actually a black belt in Karate as well in the Philippines. I actually took it when I was in high school, fourth year high school. We don't have like 4 high school years there, and then I finished it in about I think 12 or 14 months. I was a very hardworking martial arts student there in the Philippines. So I was actually one of the fastest practitioners of karate to actually get to black belt in the Philippines. So I did that when I was in high school until up to my almost second year college. And I had to stop because I had to focus in my studies, right? So right now I'm going to talk to you about, again, how much I spent to become a black belt here in Canada in the sport of Taekwondo. Alright guys, we're back. So, I started practicing Taekwondo or studying the art of Taekwondo maybe about 5 years ago, or more than 5 years ago. The reason I wasn't able to finish it as early as I can was because me and my family always traveled back to the Philippines to visit my family. So that was a very important factor for my delay as a Taekwondo practitioner in Canada. And yeah, there's a lot of other factors involved also. There was a time when I was still in white belt, or no belt I mean, that I said I'm going to stop because I've done karate already. But then when I stopped for a couple of months, my body was yearning for it, especially my eldest son or my eldest child, Radley, started doing Taekwondo. So every time I watch, I was like, oh, I want to do it again. Like it's in my blood to do martial arts, right? So I had that feeling, so I had to come back to practicing Taekwondo. And then after getting my yellow belt, I stopped again. And then I said I'm gonna focus in my work. But then every now and then I would stop. So if I didn't stop, it would take me less than what it took me to become a black belt. Okay, so here we go. So as a background, well, I don't have to mention which school I took Taekwondo in Canada because you'll see that in some of my videos. So well, I took it in Master Reams. Okay, Master Reams is one of the biggest and most well-known Taekwondo school in Canada, I'd say, because Master Reams Taekwondo have produced a lot of champions already, like Pumse champions, international Pumse champions, even Olympic champions, right? So Master Reams is a very well-known Taekwondo school, and they have a lot of I would say, good trainers. We have really good instructors. My instructor actually is a famous YouTuber, and he does a lot of exhibition kicks, right? And then he is also a black belt in like 3 other martial arts. So he has like 4 different degree black belts in 4 different martial arts. So he was, I mean, they are really good. The instructors in Master Rooms are really, really good instructors, and they're very friendly. There's that atmosphere of like it's very family friendly, family oriented school. Unlike in the other, I'd say, martial arts school, because I enrolled my son before in karate because that's my background, right? So I enrolled him in one of the karate schools in Red Deer, and we didn't like it. There was a lot of bullying. I mean, we observed him doing training, and there was this bigger kid who would bully my son, and he's a smaller kid, right? So the instructor, the karate instructor, I wouldn't mention which one, didn't do anything about it. He just let the other kids bully the other kids, and even the instructors were just ignored by this kid. So I said, there's no discipline in this, because martial arts is a form of self-discipline, self-control. So if there's no self-control in the dojo or the dojang, it just reflects what kind of instructor and what kind of system or atmosphere that martial arts actually like projects, right? So for me, I said, oh, let's try Taekwondo this time, because I've done karate already, and it's a very tough sport. Because I also played a lot of kumite, those sparring tournaments. So it's a little bit of it's a very physical sport. Karate is a very physical sport. The training is very different, and well, I'll discuss that in another video, right? The differences between karate and the difference between karate and Taekwondo, which I both love, right? Equally. So, okay, without further ado, here's how much a typical Taekwondo student would spend. Okay, this is based on my own experience, guys, so don't get me wrong. Some of the students in my school, they would do it twice a week. So twice a week is about $130 to $150 a month. So you get to train for about 8 to 10, depending on the number of weeks in a month, the number of days it would fall into. So in my case, I just did the once a week training a month. Okay, well, with once a week training, so that's like 4 to 5 training days in 1 month, and that cost me $89 Canadian dollars. Okay, so from no belt, because Taekwondo, the same with karate, you would start with no belt. Oh no, wait, I forgot. I mean, in karate, we started with white belt, I believe, already, right? So in Taekwondo, if you're not a kid, because just the kids level is much different than the adult level. The kids, they have to start what do you call this, the tiger, I forgot what it's called, tiger something Taekwondo, right? So they would have to start the tiger group first. So that would they would start with like no belt, and then white belt, and then white belt with the yellow stripe, something like that. So it would take them like 1 year to 1.5 years to progress to the regular belts, like what the adults would get, right? So based on my experience, again, this is based on my experience, $89 a month for once a week training. So for me, so I have a little cheat sheet here. I won't hide it, but I won't show it, but I'm just gonna admit that I'm looking at my cheat sheet down here, guys. Okay, so from no belt to white belt, $89 a month, it would take you 4 months. So the curriculum would require you 4 months to 4 months for you to take the testing. Okay, if I was doing the twice a week training, or the twice a week curriculum, the $139 or $130 a month, it would have taken me only 3 months before each testing or belt promotion. Okay, so it would take 3 to 4 months for the belt testing. In my case, so I only took it once a month, so that's $89, no belt to white belt. So times 4 months, right? I have to take 1 month to for 1, 2, 3, 4 months, then the testing, right? So that's what I mean. So 4 months before the testing. So 4 multiplied by 89 is 356. Okay, that's excluding tax, because you have to pay taxes in Canada, of course, right? So I'll just exclude the taxes too. So 356. The testing, including the belt and the ceremony, would be around $60. So 356 plus 60 is $416 just to become a white belt. So $416, no belt to white belt, $416. Okay, the same goes with the level of white belt. You're already a white belt, to yellow belt. 4 months times 89 is also 356 plus the 60 for the testing fee, and then it's for a total of 416, right? So that's 416 already. And then yellow to orange belt is another 4 months of 89. So 4 times 89, 356 plus the belt testing, which is 60, is 416. Okay. Then from orange belt to green belt is another 4 months. So 4 times $89, which is 356 again, times plus the $60 testing fee, and then for a total of 416. Right? So orange to green. Now, green to blue is another 4 months of $89, another 416. Blue to purple is also $416. Purple to brown is also $416. Brown to red is also $416. All right, so just from no belt, from having no belt, from starting from scratch, no belt, up to red belt, that's $416 times 8 for the 8 belts. So no belt to white belt to yellow, yellow to orange, orange to green, green to blue, then blue to purple, purple to brown, brown to red. That's 8 times 416 for a total of 3,328. So that's already 3,328. And of course, when you're red belt, you don't want to stop from there, right? Because from red belt up, you still have to take the deputy black belt test, right? So from there, that's a different computation. As I was saying, from no belt to white belt, that's 416, plus white to yellow is another 416, yellow to orange, orange to green, green to blue, blue to purple, purple to brown, brown to red, and then red to deputy black belt. That's 9 times 416. To be honest with you, I am not super sure right now if the testing fee was just 60. There were times it was like $70 or $75. So this is just a rough estimation of how much I spent, okay, to become black belt. So multiplying 416 times 9, right? Then when you are a deputy black belt, you don't immediately test to become a black belt, because that's the next level. Deputy black belt, black belt. Okay. In the previous belts, there is what we call tapes, or there are what we call tapes. So if you are, so from a certain belt, in order for you to test for the next belt, the masters will give you like an colored electrical tape. So red, green, blue, black, and then when you're ready to take a test, I believe it's the red tape, right? So for the lower belts, in order for you to get those tapes, those are free. You just have to show that you know how to do the pumse or the form, and then you have to do the self-defense, then you have to do the sparring techniques, and then you have to do the basic motions and the mental education in order to get those 5 tapes. Then you test, right? But when you get to deputy black belt, it's a different scenario, it's a different ballgame. So for every tape, that is already like a testing, like a different test. So you have to pay for that test, so that's an extra fee. Aside from the 4 months, you have to pay like around $75 to $100. But let's just put it at $75. So instead of $416, now for the first tape, as a deputy black belt, you instead pay $431. So when you're a deputy black belt, you need one tape for $431, second tape, which is another $431, and a third tape, which is another $431 Canadian dollars. And when you're testing for the black belt, that's a different ballgame altogether. You're paying, or I paid $600. So I'm just gonna break it down again. 416 times 9. So from no belt up to deputy black belt, 416 times 9 plus, to get the tapes, 431 for the first tape, another 431 for the second tape, another 431 for the third tape, and then you take the test. $600. $600 to get a new belt, and of course the certificate, and of course the ceremony and all that, and then the registration, kukuwon, something like that, and get a different kind of certificate from Korea. So all in all, that cost me $5,637 to become a no belt practitioner to a black belt practitioner. That's $5,637. Okay, of course you won't practice Taekwondo without uniforms, right? So especially in my case, I had to change uniforms because I started gaining weight, right? And especially during the COVID times. But I'll just take into consideration 2 uniforms. So on average, people or students would change their uniforms at least once. So they would have 2 sets of uniforms. So one uniform actually costs around $160. So let's say you kept your uniform nice and tidy and extremely white, stain free. So let's say you just use one uniform for the entire time you practice Taekwondo to become up to the time you get to black belt, right? So that's $160. So the 5,637 becomes 5,797. Right? And then, of course, you also want to buy nunchucks. Let's say on average it's $50 for a single nunchuck. So 5,797 plus $50 is 5,847 now. And then of course, when you start becoming, I believe, green belt, you can get to do sparring, of course, with other students. And the sparring gear would cost you around $300. Okay, in my school. So that would include the bag and that sparring gear right there, right? So and then headpiece and all those protective equipments, right? So that's another $300. So the 5,847 would become 6,147. So that's it. In my case, from being a no belt to a black belt, I spent around, I would say around 6,147 or 6,200. From no belt to black belt, $6,200 Canadian. And the reason I'm saying around that because I actually bought my uniform. I actually bought uniforms 3 times. And what else? There's some other extra expenses. Of course, sometimes in my case, because it's a COVID time, my black belt testing was delayed for about a year. So that's another $89 times 12 months, right? That's a lot of money. It's almost $1,000, right? $90 times 12 is about, that's a lot of money, right? So that's about $1,200 already in a year. So I would say if you don't, if you are a religious student, like you didn't go anywhere, you just stayed in Canada and practice continuously every week, you would have spent $6,200 to become a black belt. And how many years did I take, or would a regular practitioner take to become a black belt? So from no belt to white belt, that's 4 months, right? So white belt to yellow belt, another 4 months. And then so from no belt up to green, that would take you 1 year, minimum 1 year. From green to red, another minimum of 1 year. It's already 2 years. From red belt up to deputy black belt, that's another 4 to 6 months. And then from red belt up to black belt, that's another year. So all in all, I would say 3.5 to 4 years. It took me a longer time because, as I said, me and my family would go to the Philippines every year. So that took away like 2 months or a month and a half at least. So there were times that I was frustrated because the ones I was teaching before, the students my classmates that I was teaching before, they became ahead of me, right? So sometimes it's not really based on skills. It's usually based on how religious you are training, right? You haven't missed any sessions, and then you would be doing twice a week, or you would be doing unlimited sessions in a week. So people would spend about almost $200 to a month so that they can do it 3 times a week. So that's a lot of money. I did do that. So based on my experience, I spent around $6,200 or more because of the COVID thing. As I've said, another 1 year for me waiting to become a black belt. So around 6,200 plus, and then it took me around 4 years, 3.5 to 4.5 years to become a black belt. So if you are really into Taekwondo, or if you're looking for a martial art and you see Taekwondo, this is just to prepare you on how much dedication you would put in to, to reach your goal of becoming a black belt. I'm not done. I mean, being a black belt is just the beginning of learning the facets of the martial art you're into, right? So I'm just saying, because I'm just telling you this because my friends in the Philippines and here in Canada ask how much I spent and how much time I actually spent to reach black belt. Alright guys, so I hope this was helpful, and I have no intentions whatsoever to discourage you from doing Taekwondo or any other sport because they're expensive. It's a good way of meeting people. It's a good form of exercise. It's a good form of physical training to maintain or to enhance your flexibility, which is not good for the body. It's well, sometimes we have good cardio training doing Taekwondo, and then of course it's self-defense, and then it's a sport. So you develop sportsmanship, you develop camaraderie with your teammates, and then yeah, it's a good form of relaxation. Taekwondo is a good form of relaxation, or any other sport actually. And in Master Rooms, we didn't have a lot of sparring sessions, which was a bit different when I was in karate. Because in karate in the Philippines, we would spar every night. So I would come home bruised, or I would come home with the top of my foot swollen because I accidentally kicked my opponent / classmate's elbow. So I would go to school the next day like limping a little bit, right? So totally different because, as I said, Master Rooms Taekwondo is more of a family-oriented school, Taekwondo school. So they're not more into the like violence type of martial arts. They're more into the sport aspect of it, like fun aspect of it. So if you're thinking of taking up Taekwondo, Master Rooms is a really good school, and it's located in Red Deer, Airdrie, and some other locations. So I'm not promoting the school, but I'm just saying this is how much you would spend if you would study Taekwondo in Master Rooms. And to be honest, it would be roughly the same amount of money you'll be spending in other schools as well, because let's say in another school they're not, let's say, as expensive as my school, but still $89 in other schools would give you twice a week training, but still you have to do the 4 months in order for you to take the next step, the next testing, right, to get through the next step. So yeah, that's it. You have to be financially ready, you have to dedicate a lot of time, and then you have to be, of course, physically and mentally prepared when you do Taekwondo. I hope this helped, guys, and for those who have subscribed, thank you again so much. I really appreciate that. And for those who are watching that haven't subscribed, please just support me, and I hope I can reach 1,000 subscribers with your help, and then so I can be inspired to make more videos for everything and anything. Just let me know. Hit the like button and then comment down below. And I really appreciate you saying hi and probably maybe saying thank you for the time you spent to complete all the expenses you got. But then it's okay. I'm just happy to share with you guys, and I hope you stay happy and stay strong, stay safe, and I hope to see you again next time. Thanks for the time. I know the video is a bit long, but thanks for the time, and please subscribe. Thank you guys, and have a great day. Have a great life. Bye bye. Thank you.